So I never watch the news. I never know what's going on, and I hardly get into what's new.
I think there is a certain art form not to actually watch the news. Like I never used to watch the news, and then I would be too uninformed. But at the same time, also, once you actually get stuck onto watching the news every single day, you start chasing stories every single day. And then like you're getting impatient. You're checking the web, seeing if there's any updates. Like for example, one particular example was when the North Korean crisis was going on, and Trump was going back and forth with Kim Jong-un. Now I was actually about to visit the country at the time.
Wow.
And I was just every second I just kept checking, and every time Kim fired one of his rockets off, I was like, oh crap, here we go. And you had people saying that Trump was going to start World War III, and other people saying, no, this is what needs to happen. You end up being glued to the news, and that's not a good thing, because there's so much other things you could be watching, like I don't know.
Any of the Marvel movies, they're on a great roll at the moment. I mean, Endgame has just ended the game and they're starting the next phase. I don't know too much about it. This guy will probably know more. And by the way, yes, this man is currently in the process of getting his book published, getting his book out there. You'll find it on YouTube, actually. He's actually started doing audio ASMR himself of the book. It's incredible. If you want to get to hear the most incredible horror thriller that's out there right now, I say personally, go and check it out. It's under ASMR. It's Murkwater. Sorry, someone just asked if you have a book.
Okay.
You've already started publishing a couple chapters and you're in the process of getting it published. So I have to put it out there. This major props to this guy.
I'm just like, I want to see like this flashing light going agent alert. He's doing all my work. Yes, thank you so much. But this is why this guy's my best friend.
If you don't watch the news, you're
uninformed, and if you watch the news, you're misinformed. That is very, very true.
Yeah,
that is very true.
No, that's true. I think I just am too preoccupied with just life, just things going on, that I don't have time to oh.
You can still stand in a desert. He could! No, that's the thing.
By the way, this water is top notch. Thank you very much. I will endorse this water that you just gave me. By the way, come and say hi, no? No, okay.
No, my wife behind the scenes does not want to come out yet.
So,
EOG Clutch to say, that's how you say it, EOG Clutch. Do you watch the news or do you not watch the news? Do you consider any news to actually be safe to watch?
or what do you want to talk about?
Where are you guys located? Oh, we're in Perth, Western Australia. Yeah. The most beautiful and boring city in all of Australia.
The city that always sleeps, that's all I can say.
It's just quite true. It's quite true. Although, come on, we have the best beaches. We do have the best beaches here. I mean, people can lie and cheat about the about the East Coast of Australia, but really, we have the best beaches.
Yeah. California. Just got a friend staying with me that has come back from California. Yeah, they actually... Oh no, wait, they were saying bad things about California. It was New York they loved most.
No. California. Well, this is the same friend that we're talking about. Like, she talked about all the creativity that's in California. Like, you can be a writer, you can be a musician, or and people will actually. You'll say that and people will actually say, oh really? And they take that to heart and they take that seriously. In Perth, we say, oh, I'm a musician, I'm a writer, and people go, why are you wasting your time with that, Why aren't you learning a trade? Why aren't you going to uni? Which I am, by the way, but that's not as fun. It's just not as fun.
No, I just read, sorry, I was laughing because I just read the comment, Clutch said it's awful, to be honest. Because it's so spread out, is from what I've heard. It's so spread out. She loves the fact that you can go into different areas, like Latin areas and so on and so forth. But she had to hire a car because Ubers were just going to cost a fortune to get around.
Yeah, but how did she
California.
get by with like the whole driving on the other side of the road thing and the car was reversed and everything like that? You should ask her that question.
I have not.
Have you asked if there was
No,
a
we
chance?
drive on the opposite side of the road here to you guys. So yeah, I don't know.
Uber is interesting. But no, okay, so another example of Perth is, once again, like, they stated that Perth is a bit too spread out as well. Like,
She said it was like Perth.
The trains don't really take you anywhere, honestly. Like, they just take you and drop you in the middle of an area, and then you're pretty much screwed.
There's nothing in the areas there.
Like my wife, she's from Korea, and one of the beautiful things about Korea is the fact that basically you step outside any train station,
you're somewhere.
No, they got everything. They've got everything right there when you need it. They've got restaurants, they've got gyms, they've got nightclubs if you want them. They've got cafes all along the street. No matter where you go, you don't need to leave that area because they got everything. In Perth, it's like, oh, I want to go someplace and pool. Okay, just drive 30 minutes that way, and there's the nearest pool place. So when her parents came over here, her dad couldn't get past that. Her dad couldn't get past that. Oh, you actually had to physically go and get in the car and drive 30 minutes to get to a pool hall. Yeah. Whereas for him, he just he walked for 5 minutes out of his door and that was it.
That's everything.
So yeah.
But no, I think I definitely would love to go with this guy to South Korea sometime if you would have me.
He would never come back. I'd show him all the really good places.
His wife is there. He means all the good food places and.
No, seriously. If I was ever going to sell anything, I'd sell South Korea because it's just it's a barrel of laughs. I've been to Tokyo.
That would prefer South Korea, by the way. You just sold South Korea.
My brother spent 2 years there. He's in the Air Force. Well, thank you for his service. Those guys over there are doing an amazing job. I'm assuming that obviously it's American. So when I was over there and like we went to around the DMZ area, there was a heavy US presence there. So, but please send thanks to your brother for keeping things stable over there, keeping the airways clean. Not letting any nasty jets get over. But look, Korea's awesome, and if you haven't been there, then go visit your brother. Go hang out with him for a little while. He probably misses you.
I actually, one thing I don't think we've ever talked about. We went and saw Endgame in cinemas. Didn't we? We never actually discussed it. We never talked about it. I said we're geeks. Let's get our geek on.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, yes. Actually, I call this man Flexo. So I don't know if he wants to be called anything else, but every time I refer to him to anybody else outside of the internet, Flexo.
Okay. But my name's Luke anyway. My human name is Luke. I go by many names. And this is Dave. I call him a whole bunch of names, but to his face is Dave.
I'm David. This is Flexo. You can call him Luke, but that just weirds me out because I feel like we've got a third person here.
That's true.
And yes. So, anyways, I don't know if I'm just jumping.
That's us. Yeah. Luke and Dave. Yeah.
Jumping on.
Sounds like a sitcom. Probably one that will be cancelled soon.
These guys can't seem to stick to a topic. Actually, I think we're pretty good.
No, as I said at the beginning of the conversation, we tend to shoot off in different segues. So that's the beauty of a free-flowing conversation is that when you know that you've actually met someone that you can just chill with.
Sorry.
Hence what I almost did. Endgame. Okay.
Right. Okay, look, me, honestly, I always pretty much appreciate and love everything that almost comes out. Almost everything that I see is what I mean to say. Because I always, I'm the type of person that just completely gets enthralled in whatever world the director and the writers have made for me on screen. So even when a movie's not that great or subpar, I sort of appreciate what they're trying to do. Now, saying that, Marvel has just been incredible for me because I used to actually, along with this guy, I was quite the geek when I was younger, so I used to actually be one of those people that would collect comics. So we both were. Let's talk. we both were those people. Endgame, man. You know what? I'm just gonna dive straight in. I loved, right at the end, the big fight scene. I loved seeing Ant-Man, the big war. First of all, I've been waiting for a big war between superpowered beings just coming head to head. We saw a bit of it in Civil War. We saw that great, incredible few minutes of a scene. I loved it because we got to see everyone just go at it, you know. But this was worthy of the final chapter for me. Especially when I saw Ant-Man running out and then punching the big flying whale monster. I don't know what you would call them.
Okay, I can be more geek than you because I know their name is a Leviathan.
Leviathan?
Yeah.
When Ant-Man ran up into the battle and then punched the Leviathan, and then just smashes into the enemy forces. Oh man, I was just like, just getting my geek on. Loved it.
The only thing I felt that was missing from that, okay, some things I loved about Endgame. Okay, Endgame went for the slow burn. It started with that very, very powerful scene where we've all been asking where was Hawkeye. It focuses on Hawkeye. He's the first person that we see, and then when his family disappears, you know, I love the fact that I love the fact that first there's panic, and then you watch him drop into professional mode. Suddenly, he's detected the threat. He's looking around. He's still highly trained. Then he vanishes for the next time, and I love that beginning. I loved this slow development of watching society trying to come to terms with what had happened. I loved watching Captain America do his thing, talking to the community, like he used to inspire the community.
The build-up was incredible,
You know, for World War II and everything. And then after these terrible things happen, there he is again. He's among his fellow man. He's trying to build them up and get them together in the way that Captain America always did. And I think, you know, I used to hate Captain America as a comic book character, seriously, because to me he just seemed like a real kind of punsy kind of character. Sorry about the term.
Okay.
But the thing is that in this movie, when at the beginning of the Avengers, I think they nailed it when they said, "Don't you think the Stars and Stripes are a little old-fashioned?" And he says, really, with what we're about to face, I think what we need is a little old-fashioned. And I think all the way through, he has provided this wholesomeness and this sense of patriotism, this sense of goodness that if anyone else did it, it just wouldn't be acceptable. It would just be it'd be too cheesy.
Yeah.
But, you know, for him to stand there at the end, right, you know, at the end of Endgame, when it's the four of them against Thanos and they can't stop him, they're trying their best. And then all the portals open up and everyone comes to the party. The fact that it's him obviously him picking up Mjolnir.
Sorry, we're a bit behind on your comment. That was incredible when he did pick up the hammer.
It was.
Oh, I knew it was him, obviously. Some people...
No, I didn't.
Really? I knew it was him. As soon as you see the hammer move and get lifted, I knew it was him, 100%. And I was like, okay. Let this man represent planet Earth.
Let this man represent man.
Let this man represent man.
That's what I exactly
thought. Let this man show this intergalactic, you know, tyrant.
Yeah, godlike.
Let's show him what humans can do. Because I overlooked humans like we were some, you know, little, our equivalent to like a little backwards village that, you know, don't even have running power. Basically, we weren't much of a threat to them apart from our big juggernauts, which is, you know, Tony Stark and so on and so forth. But I feel like they would have overlooked us compared to many others.
Sorry, EOG. So you see, do you think they accurately showed what would happen if that actually happened? 50% of the planet gone. I think
there would have been so much death when you think about it, because the amount of planes in the sky. the amount of vehicles being driven, let's say 50% of vehicles, you know,
I think they.
trains, buses,
I think it was a drop in the ocean.
children that are being bathed. I don't even want to go down that path.
I think it was a drop in the ocean.
Oof.
I think they were very strategic with what they showed. I think they showed some parts of society trying to come to terms with it. Ant-Man comes back into reality. There's an empty street with a kid riding by who's clearly traumatized. He said, "Hey, where is everyone?" The kid just stares at him. You see Black Widow trying to sort out the Earth's problems because they're the only ones left in authority. I think they had a good go at it. You know, without being dramatic and showing planes falling out of the sky. I think
if they were to go deeply into that subject, it would be a very dark hole to go down when you realise the amount of destruction that would have ensued. I think it was a very accurate depiction of especially going past New York, that top view where there's the Statue of Liberty, and you see ships and everything just banked up and basically just a big tangled mess. That is definitely, society would have.
All the same though, I will say one thing for Marvel. I think they approach it in a much more personal way, whereas there's a lot of movies out there which show the destruction, which show the ruined cities, which show the oil tanker in the middle of Times Square that's been thrown up. We've seen all of that stuff before. What we don't really focus on so much is that personal element, how it's affecting us, how we're going to feel when we wake up and our family members are gone, and so forth. I think Marvel kind of touched more on that.
That was beautiful.
I think everything else has kind of been done already by Hollywood. So Marvel's always been very, very smart in the way it balances everything out and it stretches it. It didn't let go of the vanishing. I mean, straight into Homecoming, you still saw how people were traumatized. Like, oh my God, I was there and then I was gone and suddenly I was there again. They've stretched that out and made that more balanced. I don't know the term for it, but they've smoothed it out. It's not just abrupt and then abrupt. They've done a very good job in easing that through and showing the repercussions of loss and regaining life and so forth. Ant-Man's daughter is now older. So there hasn't been some. A lot. We haven't lost the complications. There's still complications, and some people didn't come back. So I think that was definitely a.
I was actually, to be honest, I was actually just as he was saying that Homecoming. I was curious if you guys watched in Homecoming. You would see when everyone reappeared 5 years later, they reappeared in the same spot that they disappeared from, which is a real predicament to me now when I think about the fact that half of the people in the sky that potentially disappeared in moving vehicles. And I mean, I don't want to even get the rotation of the Earth and everything into that mix because the Earth wasn't where it was exactly 5 years ago and so on and so forth. But I'm guessing everyone just reappeared on the surface of the Earth where they disappeared from.
It's like it's one of those things that you just can't.
I don't want to go too far into it because then we're just going to.
Because I mean, like they've already talked about it. That's not how time travel works and everything. Is if you want to get into intricacy, it's like you're always gonna have people who disagree. Sorry. Definitely a tearjerker at the end. I'll never admit it in person, but I cried at the end. You know what?
Man, I did too. I was tearing up. I was just, my eyes were watering up like crazy, and I had a few people with me, and I thought, I'll let the tears not run. I'll just let them water up.
Yeah, dude, seriously, I would have punched you.
I'll let them just get watery, but they're not gonna run. I'm not gonna do that. I'll watch it with this guy.
I'll be honest with you. When Stark made the ultimate sacrifice, which I mean, look, I think there was so many moments in that final scene. I think Captain America proving to be the best in all of us. I think watching Scarlet Witch go up against Thanos and.
That was beautiful.
They say like hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I mean, that was a woman who had her lover taken away from her, and that's what he faced when he faced her. And I loved watching her nearly snap him in two. I was like, you go girl, yeah, that's it. And he was screwed if he had caught up help. But then the moment, Iron Man, when we realize, and there is the horror moment when we think to ourselves, it nearly killed Hulk. It nearly killed anyone that touched it. What the hell is he doing? And then we realize there's a moment of triumph. We're like, yes, he's got it. Wait, no, what does that mean? And there's the horror moment. I didn't cry. And you know what? I really wanted to. I really, really wanted to. I don't know, part of me maybe shut down during that moment, but I still recognized it as a moment of genius. And they always say, like, I love you 3000. When I think back now, yeah, I do get a bit of a catch in my throat when I think about that. But I think I kind of just missed the boat on that tearjerker moment. But there's no doubt that it was
a tearjerker.
It was a tearjerker.
I have to say, I'm one of those people that really just get enthralled in storytelling, whether it's visual, audio, or anything. So yeah, and I now more than ever, I always allow myself to really feel the emotions, really get into the moment. So yeah, it was definitely a tearjerker. I absolutely loved what they did at the end. I loved even the memorial sort of what was it, like, images that they had at the end with the signatures of the actors, or the signatures of the superheroes. It was incredible. It was beautiful.
And I'll admit, like, I was one of these people who didn't go to see Captain Marvel. I'm ashamed to say I got caught up.
Is Captain Marvel too overpowered?
Yes.
All right. Yes, she was built that way. They needed, from what I gather, I never read any of her comics. I loved the imagery in comics back then when I was younger. So I loved seeing, like, the bulkiness of Hulk and the awesome slickness of Deadpool. So I just collect random comics that look like they were awesome.
Are you sure you're not the writer? Seriously? The awesomeness, the sleekness.
Yeah, they used to just make Deadpool.
What visualization?
Raw Deadpool just looking so cool and sleek. He had his face mask and his little, a bit of material sort of lapped back, and he was always just jumping out with swords, just looking just incredible. But Captain Marvel, my impression was, not as an expert, but my impression was they purposely built an overpowered being to represent the female, to represent the female community. But I'm not saying it in a bad way. I just think they did that on purpose, and they do that all the time, which is great, because they did that for Superman, they did that for Century, they've done that for, even recently outside of comics, One Punch Man. They do these overpowered beings.
We are not going to go there. It's not
overpowered beings.
We're not going we're not going One Punch Man. So.
Why not? I love One Punch Man.
Okay, for a start, I've only seen 2 episodes, which means these people will know that I'm tragically undercultured.
Ooh,
okay, and number 2, I know he's overpowered.
That is bad. You have to watch it all, man. Agree with me. Come on, guys. This guy has to watch One Punch Man. Come on, you gotta move with the times.
Okay, this is called peer pressure. I don't appreciate this. Seriously.
One Punch Man is awesome. Yes. The training regime.
100 push-ups. Can I take a break in between the 100 push-ups? I could probably.
I actually have a bit of that One Punch Man fitness regime. I have to do 100 reps of anything every single day. I have to do some form of training or 100 reps of something. So, yeah, just saying, One Punch Man. My Hero Academia. Come on, Attack on Titans. I mean, come on. I'm devastated that right now I've finished all the seasons, so.
Just going back one moment to, do I think Captain Marvel is overpowered? Okay, 3 things. Number 1, I think it was a dog and pony show for Brie Larson. I'm sorry, but it just, I didn't jump on board with that. Number 2, she is overpowered. Okay, I'm sorry. When you actually look at the actual Marvel hierarchy of power, Captain Marvel doesn't even factor in. Okay, she's kind of strong, but she's not on a really cosmic level as far as
not a cosmic level.
She's not even Thor or anything like this. She doesn't touch Sentry. She doesn't, the Hulk has stopped her before.
Who can touch Sentry? If you guys don't know about Sentry,
don't start with Sentry. I could do a whole episode.
Look up Sentry, a Marvel, not a superhero, a Marvel anti-hero.
Yeah, Marvel. It was Marvel's answer to Superman, essentially. But
but just a really dark twist.
You guys are informed. You know about Sentry. And the third thing I will say about it is, I liked her in Endgame. I liked her in Endgame. I felt that her explanation, where had she been, I felt the fact that she was in it just enough to have a presence. And when she went up against Thanos, yes, she was powerful, and Thanos was clearly shaken by that. She had her moment in the sun, and guess what? Thanos didn't beat her with raw strength. She was powered by the Tesseract. He had to use, I think it was the Power Stone to knock her away. So it was Infinity Stone versus Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
It was fair, okay?
Yeah.
So, and yeah, she was strong, and I had no problem with that, you know? In the end of the day, it wasn't all about her, though. The only part
was good.
The only part that I was like, at was when all the girl characters lined up at once with for the photograph. And I was like,
I wanted to see. I actually wanted to see that, but the way that they staged that was a bit too. I will admit, was a bit too like perfectly staged. Like having all these women just pop up all of a sudden right next to each other. I wanted to see them going out there and just destroying and demolishing because they are some of the most powerful characters we have in Marvel.
Which haircut? Do we like Captain Marvel long hair, Captain Marvel spiky hair up? Which haircut?
Ooh, whoa.
I'm gonna go with the short hair.
Yeah, me too. That was spunky.
I know it's kind of weird and not in fashion, but it was closer to the comics, and yeah, it made it formidable.
That was spunky. I actually do like that too. I like weird things though, so you can't take my opinion.
Yeah, we can. It's our channel. We can take it. This is our opinion.
Yeah, actually.
What the hell?
Yes, I like I like weird things, and you're gonna have to deal with that.
You've been told. But, okay, but there was another part to Carol Danvers as well. Okay, there was another part to it. Carol Danvers in the comics. I'm gonna pretend I know a lot about her, which I don't. But I know for a fact that she had a problem with alcoholism. I know she had a lot of internal problems.
Nice.
Now, Marvel wasn't really very kind to her for a long time. So she's had her. If they actually had shown that, if they had shown a woman who had battled with her
that
problems,
would be amazing to see a real human.
And I actually would have, really respected that because, in every character, Tony Stark, how many times in the comics has he lost his fortune? He's come back. He's battled alcoholism.
We've watched his struggles on screen. We know that man. We know he feels real to me. Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. is no longer an actor. He is Tony Stark. That's how amazingly they've built a world around this character.
And so they literally built Marvel off the back of Iron Man. And look, I'll be honest with you guys. Okay, I went to see Iron Man because there was nothing else on. I needed a movie to go see, and I went and saw Iron Man, and I walked away from that a total convert of Marvel Studios. That was it. My life, whatever was on in my life was gone.
Man, I like Clutch, by the way. Clutch, you are awesome.
Yeah.
All the way from here in Perth to California, you are awesome, by the way. Let's continue. Sorry about that. I just realised that he's...
No, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to.
He's doing great with the comments. He's actually really bringing out a lot of topics instead of us.
No, he is, and yeah, definitely Clutch. I mean, you're asking the questions that I wouldn't normally ask myself, so, he forces me to answer, and I love that. That's awesome. So, yeah, keep it up, man. Seriously, keep it up. But, no, where is Marvel going to go from here, you reckon?
I honestly...
Are we excited?
I am, because they did an amazing endgame. They did an amazing climax. They showed me the battle that I wished that I dreamed of. In fact, it was better than I dreamed of. They had so much power going on. It was this intergalactic battle. And the beautiful part about it was here on Earth with Earthlings, with Tony Stark, with Captain America, with a lot of Earthlings, like. We at least stood up to the stage of, these galactic powerhouses, these galactic beings. And the final battle for the struggle of existence happened on Earth with Earthlings, holding their own. Our own Captain America. I actually really respected and loved him after, like he said, he was a bit of a Boy Scout at the start, but by the end, when he picked up that hammer, I was like, all right, Captain America, carry humans on your back, like show them what we've got, And
I must admit, when he summoned the actual lightning, I must
admit,
this was me.
Yes.
Oh, Kit Kat. Oh.
It was just, and the way that he was going at him, just double, a double bang of just mirage of hits with the shield, and then with the hammer, and then with the shield, and then hammer again. He was just comboing the crap out of Thanos, showing this human man, just basically a creation of our struggle in war and everything like that. Sorry, I got distracted. I see myself reacting and doing things. This is
I wish there was. Okay, sorry.
I'm way off right now.
No, sorry. Okay,
sorry.
I wish there was more time shown in the past between Tony and his dad. Interesting, but I did think that they did manage to condense it down to one very heartfelt moment, and I really appreciate that they took the time to do that. If you stretch things out too long, sometimes it oversaturates it. It loses its intensity. So I appreciate they put it in there. I would love to have seen something done with that. Yeah. Do you agree with Cap's decision to stay in the past? You know what? Funnily enough, I do, because at the end of the day, after everything that happened, after that epic battle where he stands up to the Mad Titan and everything like this, you know what? At the end of the day, all Cap wanted to do was dance with a girl. That's all he wanted to do.
He was basically, when you think about, before Endgame, when you think about Captain America, he was nothing without a battle, a struggle, or a war to fight. He was a nobody, he was a nothing without that. Like, what do you see him doing if the world is at peace? I don't see him doing gardening, I don't see him working at a checkout. All the other characters, you see them, Tony Stark, he's a philanthropist, entrepreneur, he would be doing things, he would be creating, but
he was always the man out of time. He was
he was nothing in our era without a battle or struggle or war, and it was so beautiful to see this man actually find something worth living for. He always found something worth dying for, but I love how they showed he finally.
Man, I like it. He always found something worth dying for, but he found something hard to live for. I like that. That's really cool.
So I did like that. He went. They really went all out at the end. Basically discontinuing Captain.
But to
America,
end with that moment, to end after such an epic movie,
post-traumatic stress
disorder. But to end with that, after all of that epic movie, to end with
marketing for Uncle Sam. Sorry, man. I'm so sorry. We want you. Sorry, continue.
Captain America wants you. No, but that's originally what his purpose was. If you look back at the hero of the comics, World War II. But that's a side issue. What I was going to say was the fact that to go through all of that and to end with a final shot of him dancing with her.
Yeah.
This girl, he promised her a dance. Right back in I think it was the first Avenger, Captain America: First Avenger, and he was an old-fashioned guy with old-fashioned sensitivities and sensibilities. And when he made a promise, he intended to keep that promise. And I think that that's something that's not really valued in our world anymore. And some things that are outdated, it's okay to lose them. But I think sometimes things like honesty, I think some things like integrity, patriotism, some of those old-fashioned family values, I think those things, that was an unusual opportunity to bring them back into the fore and to take a look at them and say, actually, that is nice. And for him to wait all that time for one girl and then to return to that girl when he had the opportunity, and then to choose to live his life and grow old. That's the Captain America I know.
Can I actually get technical here? I realized that her name was Peggy, right?
Peggy, I believe so, yeah. I could be wrong.
I realized that, when it comes to time, okay, now I'm opening up something huge. When it comes to time, especially when you alter it, it's a common census that the majority of, common folk or scientists as well, believe that it veers off on its path as soon as something's changed. So you can't actually change the actual timeline that sticks. Once you start changing things, it veers off depending on decisions. And so the Peggy that he danced with, is that actually an alternate dimension Peggy? Is that an alternate decision Peggy?
No, you need to stop right now. You're freaking me out. Because technically that means he's cheating on original Peggy.
Original Peggy? She's still
back in the
got married
past.
to somebody, grew old, and he was visiting her after she got married to somebody, grew old,
I think
and
she
he
did,
was he was visiting her, and she had an entire life. Now that didn't change at all. Because that Captain America remembers seeing her, remembers visiting her, remembers fighting in the last biggest battle, picking up that hammer, and then going back and seeing her, stopping her from actually being with another man that she married, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he wasn't Captain America. It was no big loss.
I'm just saying.
He was just a regular guy.
Yep. This man, he's always got the inside. But I thought about that immediately, and I was wondering how Captain America, because he traveled back in time to an alternate diversion of the timeline and lived his life with that Peggy, how did he meet them at the lake as an old man? Because he's in a different timeline now. He didn't get, well, I guess in that timeline he did get frozen. So I guess there's two Captain Americas, by the way, in the timeline where he's dancing with Peggy. There's one Captain America that's dancing with Peggy, and the other Captain America that's still frozen on ice. You see how much of a can of worms that I've just opened up?
Welcome to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Stay tuned for an episode of that.
Yeah. But seriously, the thing is, in his timeline now that he went to, because that's a diversion of the timeline, because there's two Captain Americas there. I'm not even going to say how he got back and how he's going to get back to Peggy if she's still alive. He's pretty old. Also, by the way, how come he aged? He's Captain America. He can't even drink alcohol. He stayed in ice for God knows how many years.
Does the serum allow you to age?
I believed it didn't. I believe it did, but slowly. So
maybe he went back way past Peggy, and maybe he dated multiple Peggy's.
He just keeps jumping from timeline, new Peggy to new Peggy.
He wanted that dance over and over and over again.
I hope we're still talking about the same dance. I hope we actually mean dance when we're saying dance. But yeah, there's too much to discuss there. And also he brought back a new shield. I mean, because I guess he's bringing back the shield from that timeline. But then that timeline's frozen. Captain America doesn't wake up and doesn't get to have his shield.
David, wake up. Wake up, David. You're safe.
Because apparently that was the only vibranium. But then again, he knows about Wakanda now, so he can always go to Wakanda, get an extra shield made, rather than stealing it from the frozen Captain America. But do you see how much loose ends there potentially can be? I think we could go for hours about the...
But isn't that the beautiful thing about like comics, and like there's always continuity in comics. Yeah. There's always like times where like when they said that the writers always empower or depower certain characters. Sometimes, I mean, how many times like has Peter Parker broken up and gotten back together with Mary Jane Watson? In the comics. I mean, they got married for a while there.
And by the way, he says Killmonger deserves. Does he deserve more time? I actually really liked his character, but his character was a little bit too driven, like one-dimensional in a sense, where all he wanted to do was sort of take over and then kill everyone.
Killmonger?
Killmonger. Killmonger is
Is he the dude that had a problem with Captain America?
No. Killmonger is from Black Panther, the antagonist in Black Panther.
Oh.
Killmonger. He was an awesome
not as geek as I thought I was.
He was an awesome character. I absolutely loved, and I wanted to see more time. And the thing is, in the comics, Killmonger continuously comes back. After being defeated or after defeating, he's defeated Black Panther and taken over obviously the kingdomship in Wakanda and dethroned and comes back again. He was always an antagonist. But in the Marvel movies, you notice that they don't do that as much with a lot of the enemies. I mean, there's Crossbones, is he?
That's the dude I was thinking.
Yeah, he comes back once, and I was hoping to see him again, but then he floats up in the sky and gets blown up. Sorry to simplify it. That's what happened. So many enemies are just like that. They come on for a short period and they die. So back to Killmonger. I would have loved to have seen him more. I would have loved to have seen him come back. But in the real world, I don't know how well that works, seeing a character continuously come back to do the exact same thing.
I think when a character comes back, it further dilutes the impact. I think that Killmonger as a villain, I actually really liked him.
Killmonger was awesome.
I found him very relatable, actually. I mean, he was, he was the abandoned son of a king. He was locked away. He had been raised in hate, pretty much.
Yeah.
He basically learned the only way you could get, ahead in life is to basically either yourself make the major sacrifice or to sacrifice someone else. Given that led to his merciless ways. I found him understandable. I found him a driven character, and you know what? At the end of the day, he beat Black Panther fair and square in that fight.
He did. He did. No powers.
Which leads me to my point. He became the king of Wakanda. Yeah.
Yes.
The minute that he did, the good guys committed treason. They committed treason.
Technically, Black Panther and his family are, they are in the wrong.
Treason.
Because when you're opposing the authority, that by rights of a country, you're in the wrong. I mean, that's.
They're all saying when he beats that big gorilla mountain dude, whatever it is, they're all going, yes, it is good, it is just, it is right. You have rightfully defeated him. And this Killmonger comes in, beats him.
Fair and square.
And what happens? Instantly, the mum and the daughter go, quick, grab all the herbs. Quick, we gotta get this one. We gotta throw this guy.
Steal the herbs, by the way. That's no longer their herbs. They stole it.
So there's a bit of moral questionability going on here. What the hell? I mean,
true.
That kind of stung me a little bit. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, T'Challa has the planet's best intent. He's got the best intentions in mind. But just that one thing, that one moment, kind of irked me a little bit because they didn't even try and convince him to be a good king. They merely just went right under the table and tried to.
No, but with Killmonger, you could see that a lifetime of hatred, a lifetime driven to kill in order to get what he wanted. There was no changing him, and especially given power, that would only just fuel whatever hatred or whatever resentment he's been harboring his entire life. Because now he has the power to do something.
That's a good point, Clark. Thank you very much. I've been working on it for a while now. It always bothered me, seriously. But you're right. What would have happened if Killmonger had, ascended the throne? Probably for the rest of the world, it wouldn't have been a very good thing.
I mean, I might have been okay. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I would have been fine, I think.
And I would have been fine too. Under this couch.
I would be the one answering the door when he becomes the totalitarian government of the world. I would live with this guy and I would answer the door for him.
I'd be going, I'm his friend.
Man,
let's not go down that path.
Let's not go too far down.
Let's not go down that path.
It's great to laugh about.
It is.
It's true though, I would protect this guy.
Okay, Clutch. Okay, I've got a question for all three of us, okay? Who was, out of the 21 Marvel films, who was the best villain?
Whoa. There's a difference. There's the best villain, or the funniest villain, and there's also the most brutal villain. And sometimes when I'm in different moods, it's like,
who do you think had
because automatically you would go to Loki, is what I mean.
Oh, really? I wouldn't. But
you wouldn't? Yeah, automatically you would go to Loki. But for me, here's what's going to surprise you.
Yeah.
One of my most favorite villains was Hera.
Really?
Yeah, Thor's sister.
Yep.
I mean, people would obviously go against that, but just the way she looked and talked just really intrigued me. Yeah, I don't know why. And then she just does this thing where she just goes, and then the horns pop up. Like she has this confidence and this movement. She moved actually like a cat, and I love cats. Dogs are cool too, so just in case you're a dog person, all good. But she just moved. I just love the way that she acted. I loved who she was.
Loki was an interesting character. I wouldn't say he was my favorite.
No.
Keep talking because I've got to think about it.
He was a favorite. In fact, he was my favorite. But obviously, every time new villains pop up, you know, just like movies, you get a new favorite movie and so on and so forth.
I can tell you who I think was
Thanos. Yeah. I loved him. Actually, he was.
I'm trying not to get overshadowed by Thanos because I think Thanos had the most good going for him, but it's hard. He
actually,
was
you know what?
Amazing.
Thanos is my most favorite villain, and it's purely because of his personality, his goals, his expression. The fact that you expect villains to be a bit one-dimensional, but he showed so much emotion. Everyone saw him as this evil thing, but he always completely surprised me in the way that he treated his daughters. He was evil yet like emotional, and I don't know. I really liked him. I really loved Thanos.
Yeah. I've actually managed to stump myself because I can't.
Thanos had layers. He really did.
He did.
He had layers. He was like Hera. When I watched that movie, I was like, I don't know why, I'm just attracted to the way that they created this character. I think also because we haven't had too many female characters that got to really like just, you know, move, get up there, take over, destroy. And she was just really fun for me. She was just awesome because she captivated me. I don't exactly know why. She was such a powerful being, first of all. Just annihilates the entire country pretty much wow. Okay, this is terrible. Thor's kingdom. I'm terrible.
Asgard.
Yeah, just annihilates Asgard.
I was testing him, mate.
The most powerful realm of the 9 realms. So yeah, she was. I really loved her. But Thanos had layers. Thanos is like an onion. Not because it makes you cry, not because it stinks, but because it has layers. I'm also a fan of Shrek.
I okay. Look, because like I said, it's been 21 films. Like you're trying to think of who was the best villain.
Yes.
Look, the easiest character to go for is Thanos. Mainly because I think. Because he was the undervillain for so many. Like he was always in the background. We were always so intrigued with him.
He was the darkness that overshadowed the universe.
And he
That's
was.
what presence he had.
When people kept talking about like seriously, you don't want to screw with this guy. You don't want to like. I think they actually managed to culminate all of that fear, all of that power, all of that mysticism. Yeah. When we finally saw him.
Yeah.
He was all of that. He was. And he
like
was.
You said, without the Infinity Stones, the most incredible scene that has been scorched into the back of my head, which is him destroying
Vision?
Hulk in
Hulk,
a one-on-one fist fight. Is one of the most. That's what I wish for when I see the comics. That's what they do so often. They get these juggernauts, whether it's a Thing in the Hulk or whoever. They get these sort of similar characters that you always wonder, with their power levels being similar, you assume in the comic books, you always wonder, and they did it, and not only did they do that, but it was just, they really, really reminded you why this incredible Mad Titan is pretty much the biggest threat to the galaxy. I don't know if Marvel is using the universe or the galaxy. Is everything happening within our own galaxy? I'm not sure if you guys understand what I mean, but you know, we're just a little solar system within a big galaxy, and there are billions of other galaxies which make up the universe.
Well, they've already jumped like interdimensional with what's his name, Dormammu.
Yes,
so they've already done that,
yeah.
And I think we can agree probably that the only thing that's bigger than Thanos so
galaxies.
far. So the only thing that's bigger so far than Thanos, or if you wanted to impress, because we've already done Ego, we've already done Hera, we've already done. So the next big one that you can make multiple about would probably be Galactus.
Oh, I'm waiting for him. You know what I have to say, why did I make these galactic beings floating heads? I'm talking about DC's
floating
They make them floating
It's
heads.
like-
You
it's
want
like-
to see these big
do you know
things,
what
but they continuously make them floating heads.
Do you know what
Actually,
the floating head
Fantastic
is?
Four.
Do you know what the floating head is?
Galactus in Fantastic Four was a giant floating head, by the way. And also Dormammu
Was a floating head.
was a floating
A
head.
very
They keep
terrible
doing.
CGI one.
Why do they keep doing floating heads? We want to see giant juggernauts. These I don't know how to explain it. These giant titans that are just interstellar sized. I don't know how to say it.
Sorry, I see you. I see your question, man, about Buck. I'll answer one thing though. The floating head. Maybe you're not as old as I am, but the floating head has always been a letdown. Even we used to play like beat 'em ups or video games in the 80s.
Yeah.
The biggest cop out was just a big giant
Floating head.
It was
Why?
like they couldn't be bothered animating the rest of the body, so it's just a head.
We love giant things. We love giant beings. Sorry, not giant things. Or else we would love giant heads. We love giant beings with giant fists.
We like
that
giant
can
things
punch
connected to other giant things.
Yes, that can punch giant floating. I don't know, whales. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, we love that. That scene is a scorched. Also, actually a lot of my memories consist of scorched Marvel segments of awesomeness.
You say though that what was scorched into your head was the whole getting the shit kicked out of him by
Yeah.
Thanos.
No doubt. Yeah.
I think what was scorched into my head
Yeah.
from Thanos was just the moment where he tore the Mind Stone out.
Really?
Because, you know, we saw a lot of different sides of Thanos as we
Yeah.
went along, and he almost became a character that we could empathize with and that
Yeah.
we could understand. But that moment where he tore, he didn't
Yeah.
just kill Vision. It was one of the cruelest things to bring him back after he died, and then to kill him in an even,
Fox boss. So,
Yeah. you know, in
Yeah,
an even
yeah. I'm surprised.
more cruel way, right in front of him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that literally showed.
Crushed his forehead.
He
in.
crushed his forehead. You know, it was the worst way to kill someone like that. You know, what I mean by that is that just when you think you're understanding Thanos, just when you start to say,
okay.
I don't really mind if he
I
wins.
understand,
No, he does something incalculably cruel.
Yeah.
And you're reminded, no, he is still the bad guy.
He is still the bad guy.
He's
yeah.
still the bad guy, you know, and he was different. The new version of him in Endgame was different to the old one because obviously he hadn't gone through some of the revelations, and that's what he said. I've clearly made a mistake in the past. I'm not going to let that mistake happen again. So that version of Thanos, I didn't like him as much as the more relatable Thanos.
I actually liked seeing what lengths he would go to. Like, you never get to truly see a character until you've watched them long enough to see them in so many different circumstances. What's going on?
Floating head, lol.
Yeah, I watched that one. Show me what you got. You Show me what you got. Sorry. Yeah, that's got to be a catchphrase now.
Hey, who invited you? Go away.
Let's go back here.
But no, so Bucky, Clutch.
Buck or Bucky?
No, it's Bucky.
Okay.
I believe.
We'll go back to that question.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
hang on, Buck. Is it
Buck.
You mean Bucky?
Oh yeah, sorry. I wasn't sure, that's why I didn't actually comment.
If you're talking about Bucky, well, the next one, the next movie they're going to make is going to be,
Bucky and Falcon.
Yeah, Bucky and the Winter Soldier. Or something.
Actually, is that not a TV series? I'm not too informed, so I don't know.
Are they actually going into a TV series?
I believe that Marvel is making its own version of Stan on Netflix, which is going to
Marvel Vision.
Marvel Flix or Marvel Stan, I don't know. But they're making their own. Disney is making its own Stan on Netflix.
Yeah. Well,
and they're going to start actually pumping out their own TV series, and then from the look of it, if they're getting the actual characters from movies to star in their TV series, it's probably going to be big budget. So
well, I was going to say they better use the original.
they're going to be
characters.
they use the originals, which is awesome because now they can pull them in and out, and actually of movies and TV series, and actually develop their characters.
Well, that's the one mistake that DC actually ever made. Like, the fact that they've got a TV Superman, a TV Supergirl, a TV Flash. You know, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to integrate them, but just for heaven's sake, just stay consistent. You know, I mean, they could have. I mean, how much more would I liked the Flash in Justice League, but we would have cared so much more if it had simply been the Flash from the TV series.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I always wondered why they didn't bring them from the TV series, but it's pretty obvious why they don't, because a TV series wants to have flexibility to do and tell so many different storylines. And bring in so many different characters, and the movies want to have complete control over where that character comes from, what they did and what they've done. Basically, is my understanding of it. You don't want to use, a character that has a corny, a lot of the time these TV series I have to say I don't watch many superhero TV series because I love my superheroes. But they make them good, but a lot of the times they make them a bit corny because they have to drag out the drama because it's a TV series, and I don't blame them for that. I love my Marvel movies. And
on the other hand, I do because look, I recently finished a book about like the history of superheroes, and like when they talk about the writers in Marvel and DC, I mean these guys, you had a bullpen of writers back then, and these guys used to pump out stories like. They would have to make, I don't know, like 20 stories a month or something, for all the respective characters. Now, when you got these interlocking storylines like Crisis on Infinite Earth or Secret Wars or something like this, all of these separate writers all had to correlate, and they all had to line up, and they all had to, shift these things together so everything led up to one climactic moment, and they actually did it. Yeah. They did it between all these different titles.
But that's in comics. Comics can really
be flexible. But why can't like studios do that too?
They can, and they are. They're doing that with Marvel, but they want to actually have their best writers, not just random writers, their best writers that possibly have been in the same room with these people that write, the big budget Marvel scripts.
I'm a writer, so like I know how long sometimes something can take to write, and you get writer's block, and you struggle, and
Marvel's doing it right. I think they're doing it right because they're actually taking the characters from these movies, pumping big budget, backing behind these TV series, and they're actually making it to be able to intertwine, as it should be, all the characters that you use from Marvel to make TV series.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the first one to do it. Yeah. And good on Samuel L. Jackson for showing up in the first, I think it was 2 episodes.
Did he?
He did.
Wow.
We love Samuel because Samuel will do anything. I love Samuel.
Let's get on to Samuel Jackson.
He will do an A-listing movie.
Yeah.
And he will show up in the most bargain basement, D-rated movie. Yeah. And he'll make it awesome because it's him.
Yeah. He can do pretty much anything. He can do the biggest budgets to snakes on a plane. He can just.
And then he still shows up in sports bet.
Yeah. He's doing ads
responsibly.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard. I'm not sure if this is true, but I've heard that Samuel Jackson has actually opened up his own acting school. Which doesn't make sense to me. I love Samuel Jackson, but it doesn't make sense because Samuel is sort of the same character in every single movie. So I'm not sure how diverse or how much he can teach these. What is he going to say? Be yourself and just add, profanities?
Sorry. Have you guys? Sorry. Sorry. We missed a couple of.
Yeah, we missed.
We went off on a tangent. And he goes, "New Barry Allen is the best Barry Allen." You mean it in the movie, this Barry Allen from the movie? Is that what you mean? Have you guys heard of the Marvel game releasing Thor, Iron Man, etc.? But they're different actors playing them, a whole new universe of adventure.
Yeah, I actually heard about this one. They've animated them to look completely different from the Marvel universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't like how he's got his eye patch. Is that canon?
If it's made by Marvel, like their studios have approved it, then yeah, it would be. But you have to see it. Actually, thank you for bringing that up. We'll have a look at it right now. I'll grab my phone. You have to see this. You are totally right. They've completely just pretended that the MCU doesn't exist and recreated the characters.
Clutch. Lesson number 1 for Samuel L. Jackson's school.
Yes.
Learn to say motherfucker. I was going to say fuck. Learn to say fuck.
Yeah, I was going to say. I wasn't sure if I should. Yeah. That's
be serious.
Now repeat after me.
D1.
Pretty much.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
See what again? See what again?
All right, so we're checking something out. Aren't we?
Okay. What is it? The new game, Marvel game, Marvel.
Do you want me to just click on it there?
Oh, he's got the link there. Yeah, go for it.
Alright.
Thank you for putting the link there. We'll have a look. Sorry about the delay. We saw
Alright, what are we-
the ruffle off. Clutch. Awesome. Okay. Look. Okay. Thank you. We're watching it right now. Do you see? Is that Captain America? What is this? You had a great formula. What are you doing? What is that supposed to be Captain America? The animation's great, but wow.
Who's that? Is that?
Yeah, Hulk. But he looks
He looks-
almost like him, but not.
Yeah, but he looks a bit too cool. You know, he was always. a bit more
Yeah,
of
he
a
needs to
geek.
be a nerd. Yeah.
Okay, Tony Stark is always Tony Stark.
Yeah. You can see that his suit is different, even him, but Tony Stark has many suits.
Unibeam. Yeah. You can see they're trying hard to make them look like it, but not look like it.
Yeah. It's really strange. Is that a joke? They just said yes. Is this a joke? It's funny because Hulk always looks like Hulk though. He's big and he's green
Hang on,
and he's
who's that
got
dude?
purple
Who's that
shorts.
dude? Who's that guy?
And they've even done the Flying Fortress the same. Whoa, they've made everyone look more human, but not like their human MCU. Now when Cap puts on his helmet, he looks like Cap.
Who's that? Is that
Yeah.
Falcon? What's that Falcon?
Why make them look similar, but not?
Well,
Like
obviously,
themselves.
it could actually just be, you know, copyright or whatever, you know.
No, but this is the new Avengers Endgame. If they're using, okay, Tony Stark just his face mask actually just folded back and his face popped up and it's.
I'm sorry, I keep expecting to see Scarlett Johansson. I keep looking forward to it. The fact
Yeah,
that her face is different, I'm like,
it is
"Oh."
really funny watching this. Thank you for this link. Is that?
Why's his hair long? He's going for a Thor thing.
Oh, he must be dead. Just saw the statue of Captain America.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Sorry, Cap.
Oh, hey, what the?
Oh, okay, he needed his hammer, of course. Ooh, Abomination.
Abomination.
You see, they're using the Avengers logo. They've obviously got the name. They've got the backing of the. They have to. You can't just do that without the backing of Marvel Studios or I don't know, Disney, I guess, who owns Marvel.
Why make them look similar?
Why?
at all?
Yeah, but they make them look human, but not even as human as the actual actors in the MCU that we've all known to love. And I actually thought, wouldn't they get more people wanting to play the game if they could actually play it as a TV, as our movie cinematic Tony Stark, or as our cinematic?
Yeah, I actually don't know why they couldn't use the likenesses. I mean, if you think about what's it, Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like the Star Wars Battlefield Frontlines, I think it is. You know, I mean, Rey looks like Rey, and
They
Luke
use
looks
actual
like Luke.
characters, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the characters look exactly the same. So,
Yeah.
and that's good because we want to emulate our heroes. We want to emulate our favorite characters. So the fact that they would actually kind of come close.
Come
but
close,
not-
but then they're like, we got you.
Yeah,
You're
it's-
gonna be disappointed.
I mean, I could swallow Captain America. I could swallow Captain America, but come on, when they
Yeah.
focused on Scarlet, or so I'm calling it Scarlet, Black Widow.
Black
when they
Widow,
focused
yeah.
on Black Widow's face, I was like, that's not Black Widow.
That's not,
you know,
yeah,
and that's not quite Thor.
That's not. No,
You know,
it's disappointing.
look, it looks good, it looks great, but if they're trying to really hit the audience, then they should just go for the full likeness.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would rather play a game that had the most awesome characters in the comic book universe of movies, which is Marvel at the moment. They're on a great roll. I'd rather play them. I'd rather play a game where you can actually be Tony Stark and fly around, rather than this person that sort of looks like Tony Stark but just not as cool.
What is the lineup for Phase 4?
To be honest, I don't have TV and I don't know. So this guy is going to answer all your questions, and I'm going to make little abrupt, annoying comments.
Alright, I'm just going to try and find it. So let's look it up. Alright.
I'm a bit old school, you see. I guess.
Let's see, what do we got? Here we go.
Okay, let's look at
So, so Black Widow, Leviathan,
cool.
the Wasp, escaped from the microverse. I thought he already escaped it, but never mind.
Wait, the Wasp. It's the Wasp now.
It's the Wasp, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, the Wasp. Nova, that I am excited for.
Nova?
Nova.
Does that mean the
Corps.
character? Or the Nova Corps?
Well, Nova is from the Nova Corps.
Yeah.
So I am excited. I always
cool.
kind of saw it like Nova as kind of like an answer to Captain Marvel / answer to Green Lantern.
I saw him as like, basically. I was gonna say even Captain America, like their most power.
Warlock.
soldier.
Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I know you commented on that.
Yeah, I am
waiting for that one.
I am. The Mighty Thor. This is the one with the female Thor.
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know much about this female Thor because I haven't seen a comic with her on it.
My name's Austin.
So-
Well, how you doing, Austin? Thanks for,
Good.
nice to be
My
on a
man.
first name basis. Captain Marvel and the Valkyries. See, we've got a team up. We've got a team up here.
Valkyries. Ooh.
It's a team up though. You know.
I actually, I'm not going to get into it. I was going to ask, what do you think about the actress that plays Captain Marvel? But I don't want to get into it. Sorry, not going to get into it. Not today.
Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four. Now that's interesting because they've tried and failed twice already.
No, Marvel hasn't tried not once. So this is completely.
Who ran it last time? Was it Sony?
Yeah, they've made every single Fantastic Four movie and they've failed. So finally,
hence Galactus being this gigantic cloud
floating
thing.
head, or
Floating cloud
yeah.
head.
Yeah.
The floating
No,
head again.
I've actually, to be honest, I know this is going to be a surprise to you, Flex.
Yeah.
But I've actually been most anticipating out of everything, out of everyone. I've been most anticipating Fantastic Four, Marvel's rendition of Fantastic Four. I've been waiting for them because they are such pinnacle characters in the comics. They've been there for every single.
Hang on, how old was that? Sorry, so you keep going.
Actually, yeah. When
Because this is different again. Now we got Black Widow, the Falcon, and maybe or these series.
who's Jessica Alba fan? Yeah. But if she was used for a Marvel Fantastic Four, like if they actually hired her in the Marvel Studios, they would have made Fantastic Four so much more better. Could you imagine a Fantastic Four that was on par with the Avengers coming together? That's what I'm hoping that Marvel would do for Fantastic Four.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and that just sounds like fun. I'm gonna bring my 3D glasses.
That's a title worthy of a comic book. I would love to see that.
That's worth 3D glasses. I'll pay for the 3D version of that.
Yep.
Because the last one screwed with my head. Shang-Chi, I don't know much about. The Eternals. I know that's a new series.
The Eternals. Yes, I've been hearing a lot, but I need to know more about them.
WandaVision. What? So they bring back Vision?
Oh, this is a bit. How do we scroll this thing down? Oh, okay. I can't see it.
That's okay.
How are they going to put?
Are they going to put in Stanley? Well, Stanley's eternal. He just keeps regenerating. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Now with special effects and you can make anyone come back.
But on the other hand, Austin, do you think that that's disrespectful? Do we want to go down that rabbit hole of using someone's likeness being disrespectful? I know there was a couple of rumors that Stan. Things weren't so good for Stan at the end, was it?
What do you mean, between him and the studios?
Yeah.
Really?
A little bit. No, that's just a couple of read about that he wasn't getting a very good deal at the end. But
look, to be honest with Stanley, what if he means not getting a good deal for about 30 seconds of screen time? You probably won't. He's probably getting a really good deal compared to our standards. Like 30 seconds of screen time would be
certainly
the amount of money he would be getting would be incredible for us.
Certainly a better deal.
But we don't know. I don't know the exact circumstances. We don't know the circumstances.
But certainly he's getting a better deal than Schuster and Spiegel.
Yeah. Wait, who?
Schuster and Spiegel, creator of Superman.
Oh.
Do you know about that story?
No.
So when they first produced Superman, they were offered a deal by at the time I think Detective Comics, because that was the name of DC Comics back then, Detective Comics. And they literally had to hand over the reins, the complete control of the character when they were picked up, and they pretty much lost any creative control over him.
Wow.
And then on, like that, it was basically they got basically ousted, and from then on they continued to write for DC. But then I think after their 14-year contract ended, like they were kicked almost completely out. And it wasn't until right around the time of the Superman movie that
the original first
Superman movie with our favorite Superman of all time, Christopher Reeve, that they won a court case just to get they got some payback and to get their names up there. Created by. And they got it just in time. And part of the legal thing was to have their names put up there as creators, and it was their just desserts. They deserved it to create such an awesome character. So at least Stanley probably got a better deal than that.
Actually, who was Stanley's first superhero that he created? No, I do not actually. I believe I've come across that information, but I have not stored it. I would have no idea, actually. Well, let's let this guy decide. You can tell us, but I can hide your comments so you can't see it until he has a good time to decide.
What wasn't it the Human Torch and the Submariner?
Ooh, okay.
Was it that? Am I right?
Was it that?
Superhero and Submariner?
Or maybe he's just asking.
Oh. No, I think he knows. I think Austin knows. I think he's putting me on the spot here.
He's like, you guys aren't comic book fans.
I knew you weren't on the level. So come on, tell me. Am I right? Is it human?
Real quick.
Oh God.
I feel like I
Don't
know
keep me
this,
in
but
suspense,
I'm not going to even guess, because I'll guess horribly wrong. But I feel
Fantastic Four, was it really?
Really?
Was it?
I am so looking forward to Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, you're right. Huh?
I'm so looking forward to Fantastic Four, Marvel's rendition. I love that Marvel has basically brought back the rights to all of their characters. Now we can see an actual extended universe, because Fantastic Four was supposed to be that was supposed to be even the main storyline of Civil War. It was it wasn't Ant-Man, but it was what was it, Gigantor that got killed, 1961. Wow, he had a good run. He really did. That's a while ago.
But wasn't Stanley
the Fantastic Four were in the middle of Civil War.
I thought, but like Captain America, for example, he was wartime, wasn't he? So wasn't he created by? I know he was drawn by Jack Kirby originally. But
by the way, Jack Kirby has as much of a right, or is as much of a legend to be up there with.
Do you know the name of the co-creator? Oh man.
Did we just say Kirby?
It was Kirby.
It's Kirby.
It was Kirby, wasn't it? Oh, there you go. Yes, I got one right. Yay.
I feel like Kirby has as much of a right to be as praised as Stan Lee, to be honest, because he done an incredible job of bringing the.
Jack Kirby was actually the first Marvel artist to draw frame by frame battles. Yeah. One punch, one kick, and everything like that. Before that, they would just show a fight in one panel, one big panel.
Really?
That would be the fight.
That would be very boring.
Whereas Kirby created a much more dynamic flow to a fight.
Yeah. I only say that that he should be up there as well because he is as much of an artist. I know there's writers, and I know that writing is one side of it, but also he really got to be able to bring them out of the pages as well, which is beautiful. So
they chose not to go with Kirby though for Spider-Man because Kirby tended to draw his superheroes very steroidal and very.
Well, this is back in the time.
I'm so not.
Yeah, this is back in the time where it was probably taking off back in the 70s, especially bodybuilding.
It actually wasn't in the fashion back then to be that big. Around World War II and everything.
Yeah.
To be that big, it wasn't fashionable. But when he drew Spider-Man, Stanley didn't want. He wanted someone who was more athletic, so he actually went to a different artist entirely.
Wow.
Don't ask me who that artist was.
No, I don't like when they draw the characters too bulky and unrealistic. I love characters that are lean. I love characters that are more human rather than these jacked up, I love seeing human characters, to be honest, with human physiques. Not physiques where they don't work out and kick butt. I mean physiques where they do that for a living. So obviously they're quite lean, they're quite cut, and especially with characters that would be fast like Spider-Man. You're not going to see him as a bodybuilder trapezing around like he does, and they've drawn him like that apparently. The reason why I commented on Kirby like that is because after seeing the list, I saw a list of all the characters he was involved in creating, and he just blew my mind. And I just thought, this man, was right there at the beginning of all these comics, the creation of all these comics.
Are you guys familiar with the Destroyer? Yes, I am. He was. Yeah, I think he was. Was it World War II? Was it set in World War II or something? And he was it? I thought the Destroyer wasn't. He had cybernetic implants, wasn't he? Wasn't he the first
Nazi?
Yeah, from Trade Revenge.
Right.
Yeah.
I honestly actually am not familiar with that character, so I'm not going to add much to this at all.
Do you know what I would have loved to have seen? Clutch, you sound very informed. Do you know what I would have loved to have seen? I would have loved to have seen the Shield go up against Captain America, because the two both had the Stars and the Stripes going. The two of them were both very, very patriotic characters. They were from different, comic houses, but they were so similar in so many ways. I really would have loved to have seen a bit of a crossover, because they did crossovers. I would have loved to have seen the two of them go up. Speaking of crossovers, I watched on YouTube the other day when the Green Hornet showed up in a Batman episode. And it was so funny watching Robin trying to box against Bruce Lee as Kato.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
You can just see he's so hesitant. You're like, holy smokes, Batman! I'm gonna get my ass kicked. Bruce just one spinning roundhouse.
After school boxing classes ain't gonna help me here.
God, it was funny. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, sorry. What's it say? Created by Stan Lee. That would have been must, to be honest. Yeah. Am I the only one who didn't hate the Green Hornet?
You mean the new remake?
Come on, man. That gas gun of his was awesome.
I'm not sure. Are you talking about the remake, or are you talking about the old?
Are you talking about the character, or are you talking about the? Or are you talking about the actual character itself?
Good question.
The remake.
I
never saw it. Hands off. No, I never saw it.
This guy, One Punch, and now the remake of the Green Hornets. Wow.
No, I never saw
it.
And
I thought I didn't have a TV. I thought I was sort of misinformed about.
No. I don't know. The remake was kind of done in that whole new buddy cop teen drama, teen comedy kind of style. I'm just not interested in that kind of thing. Oh my God, get on it. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Apparently.
One Punch at least. You gotta be in tune with what's hot, even if you're not interested. The world keeps moving. Once upon a time, every single person, every single character that you loved were hot and new, and people hated them because they were hot and new. So I mean, Spider-Man was a new person. You know, every single person that we know.
Clutch, do you want me to make a list? I can start writing now.
Everything was new at one point, and a lot of the older generation probably wasn't too into it at the beginning. And, yeah.
Yes, please.
What drink?
Whatever.
You?
Oh no, I'm okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. We are endorsed by water.
Water. Exactly. Thank you.
Get your water today.
Sorry. How's your knowledge of?
Ooh, Star Wars. Yes, we can actually talk about this.